All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. We're back with more Game of Thrones Season 7. We're doing Episode 4. So full spoilers, if you've not seen this episode, it is called The Spoils of War. So, this one has an amazing finish. It's got some really good character stuff in here. Like every one of these episodes has some really incredible moments. The beginning of this episode, though, compared to the way it ends, is much kind of slower. But that's not bad. It's just not sometimes the best scenes are just people talking. And so that's what's in here until the end, and then we get, everything blowing up. But first off, I just want to mention again, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can get back to doing live streams. I wanted to do live streams to Game of Thrones. I wanted to do live streams for The Expanse, stuff like that. But I can't until we get to 1,000 or I get a laptop. And whichever one comes up, gets there quicker. I'm trying my hardest to get enough money to get a laptop so that I can start making do live streams off of that, so I won't have to rely on my mobile device. But any help that anybody out there can give me as far as sharing the videos, liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, all that stuff. I hate asking like this. I don't know if it's just my pride or what, but it just feels awkward, like saying, there's the normal asking people to subscribe, and then there's like a kind of like a necessity thing, like almost like an obligation, and I don't want anybody to feel like that. But if you do like the channel and you do like the content, if you want, it would really be appreciated to help us get to 1,000 so this channel can get back to growing again instead of, kind of just being hemmed into or, put into one little thing where I'm only allowed to do a certain amount because I'm doing it off a mobile device. But anyway, back to the episode. Sorry, that's just, and this way I don't have to say it at the end. I also been trying to come up with our favorite moments and best moments, and like I said, I want to hear what everybody else's favorite moments from the series are, and this episode as well. But trying to think back at what was my favorites for season 4 this time. Well, of course, watching Joffrey die was beautiful. That whole scene was great. And for people that, I would have loved to seen Joffrey die multiple ways. I would have loved it if they had done it multiple takes. What I mean is multiple versions of his death. That would have been awesome. But the death we got is so earned in this scene, because it gives us exactly why we want him dead. Just so much poison comes out of his mouth during this scene that it's fitting that he dies from poison. And it's just an amazing, amazing scene. It is so much, right from the books, and it's just fantastic. It is probably the best scene, because it's a big scene. That whole thing takes a long time to play out in that scene. So, that's kind of like best/favorite. I don't think you can really top that. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the seasons, every single season, because you've got, the Hound and Arya stuff, and the Hound fighting Brienne, and, just all these cool things, these cool moments, but it still has to go to the big one. And that's the satisfaction that everyone got, especially having the last shot of the episode, I believe, being his dying face. And I think that gave a lot of people catharsis over the Red Wedding, pretty much. So that's my moment. I think I'm going to put on here for season 4. Tomorrow we'll be doing season 5, best favorite moments. But anyway, on to this episode proper. We're 4 minutes in. But hey, I watch these Trivia Schmodown videos, and they don't even get to the trivia questions until 20 minutes into the episode or the video. But okay, so to start here, we've got Jaime and Bronn, who, of course, Bronn is still bitching about, not getting all the things that he was promised. And to talk about Bronn, besides the whole when people say that him and Lena Headey can't be in the same room together because they used to date, damn, dude, you both had to have some, I want to know what happened there. Like that's its own like fucking storyline right there. Is how can you guys be on the same show and not be like in the same scenes in the same area? I want to know. I really, really do, and especially because they kept him around, and he's just a side character. You don't have to have him in your show. You know what I mean? Like it would have been really easy to fire the guy who plays him, and I know his name. But it's right there, and it's not Jerome Flynn. I want to say, yeah. And then I should also mention Conleth Hill because I finally remembered what Varys's name is. But I want to know that for real, like because why or they could have recast, right? I mean, they recast all the time on this show. How many mountains have we had? Like 3, and we've had a couple of Darios. You know, I mean, come on. So they must really, really like him. Like they must, I don't know what kind of deal they made with the actors to like, but, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just like, as long as he's not anywhere near me, I don't give a fuck. But Bronn is, you know, being Bronn and not, you know, happy with things. And that's the thing about, I was going to say about Bronn is that ever since Tyrion left and he's become, you know, Jaime's buddy, I don't know. I just don't like him as much. I don't find, like, yeah, when he laughs at Dickon's name, that's funny, but it's funny if anybody does it. You know what I mean? It's one of those, it's a universal joke. You put any character up there. Cersei laughing at the name Dickon would have been fucking hilarious. Or even like, you know, Alana Tyrell would have been hilarious. Or Varys laughing at it. Or Littlefinger laughing at that guy's name. Because making it a joke about even the most hard characters on the show laugh at Dickon's name. But it's Bronn. And, you know, Dickon and his dad are jokes. Okay? Nobody cares about them because everybody loves Samwell. I love Samwell too. So anything that happens to these guys, nobody cares. So laugh at his name. Who gives a shit? But meanwhile, in the Red Keep and everything, and Cersei's dealing with Sherlock's brother Mycroft to get the deal with the bank going on. It's just weird seeing him in this and just being like, "Where's Sherlock, man? Don't you get it? Like, is this some like big scam that y'all are working? You know?" But again, the bank is, you know, I love the bank actually. I love the bank, Iron Bank, because they're always wanting their money, and the Lannisters always owe money, and I love that they're the one group of people that can boss Cersei around, and she has to take it. I mean, she could always choose not to, but it would be like, she would probably rather betray her own like family, you know, like before she would betray the bank, I think. I think that she knows deep down that if she fucks with the bank, she really is screwed. And so it's kind of just cool to see, you know, the guy who plays Mycroft get to kind of subtly be shitty to her and kind of laying it out like, hey, if we think you guys are worth investing in, we'll give you more money. But first you got to pay us. And then, you know, and I just love it. It's just great. It's the only thing that they really, you know, care about, even though they haven't paid their debts in forever. So even though he's saying, congratulations, you did what your father couldn't do, immediately he does, you know, you get the pat on the back and then the stab in the back. Like, oh, that's really great. You've done better, but we're not going to give you any more money until we get the money in our hands. And they really do keep track of where this money is. And because I could swear that at the fight, at the when we see the dragon come in at the end of the first time I saw it, I thought everything went. I thought the gold went too, but they made sure to mention that the gold made it across wherever the fuck they came from. But so that's pretty much it for them. We know they're on their way back. Cersei's telling the bank the check is in the mail, proverbial mail. And then we have stuff with Jon and Daenerys, where Jon gets to lead her after they dish a little bit on her and on Missandei and Grey Worm's little, you know, fling. Apparently, we can still gossip about sex in dire circumstances. Probably need a little levity, you know. What did his weird eunuch dick look like? Oh, I'm so glad they didn't show that to us. Okay, you know, speaking of things that I forgot to mention last week, or yesterday's episode, about the Varys Melisandre meeting. I really meant to say that mention that with Conleth Hill and Carice Van Houten as Varys and Melisandre respectively, that scene they have together is really great, and really great bit of foreshadowing about something, anything. It's very mysterious. I like this, that she's going to leave to go to Volantis, but that she has to come back to die in this wretched country. And she says, the same as you do, to Varys. I really, really like that. I also like the line that he has where it's, give the common folk a taste of power, and you're like a lion tasting man for the first time. Love that. But I forgot to mention that yesterday, and that was such a great scene. And I think it's one of those that people might, quickly overlook. You'll get probably like Nerdist Channel to be like all, fist up this scene's ass, trying to create something out of nothing. But I just wanted to mention that really quickly. So then, let's see, we were talking about, Jon shows Daenerys the cave paintings of the First Men, and that they were alongside the First Men, and that they fought the White Walkers together. It would have been funny if Jon was just down there like, fucking draw on the walls, we gotta get this chick on our side. Because they don't look old at all. They look like somebody just gave them a really good dusting. Because come on, if they haven't been down there in forever, right? And nobody's been doing anything really. And Stannis hasn't been there in forever. And I doubt he kind of gave a shit about Dragonglass. Because how is Dragonglass going to help him win the crown, or the throne? But Jon shows her all these cave paintings, which I still think is hilarious. Quick, clean this up. She's on her way. Just finish drawing. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You don't have to stay in the lines. It has to look like caveman's shit. So eventually she says, that she'll fight for Jon as long as he bends the knee. And of course, nothing there. She gives him that great line. If you're their king, be strong enough to do what they need to do to survive. Don't worry about you being king and letting these people down. Do what's best for them, even if they think it's stupid. So I do like that. And then we immediately find out from Tyrion and Varys what happened to the rest of their boats and Castaway Rock and all this other stuff. And she's rightfully pissed. And because, Tyrion is this brilliant strategist, right? And he got outsmarted by his brother, who is not that smart most of the time. Look at who he's in love with. I love Jaime, but come on. He is kind of stupid sometimes. But then she goes to Jon about it and what she should do. And I love that she just kind of disappears from the episode, and I at least did not think about it the first time through. And I kind of forgot it this time too. Was that when they announced that she's not here, where she went. But I love that they just kind of go, boom, she dipped. We don't see no grand leaving with the dragons and all that stuff. They make that a really cool surprise. Now then we've got Winterfell and Arya coming home. This is a good reunion for Arya and Sansa. It's probably the one that really needed to have the most impact because of what happened in King's Landing in season 1 and how they never saw each other again. One day they were there and the next day they were just gone, and now years later they're reunited. That was a pretty big deal. Plus they've never been very nice to each other, so it was kind of like realizing how close they both came to losing everything and each other and all that. I think that gives them, a good moment to realize that they love each other. But they're still going to be the same two sisters, especially when Sansa sees how much of a badass Arya has become. She didn't really, Sansa's, again, she's just kind of seeing things, all the changes and all that, I'm not going to dive into Sansa hating. But when she sees Brienne and her fighting, that was incredible. That was so cool. I mean, I didn't know I wanted that. I didn't know that was on the table. Do you know what I mean? Hey, what would we think would be the best fights we'd want to see? I would never put Arya and Brienne together. I mean, not a real fight, but I mean, come on. They're showing off. We're getting a little showboating here from both of them. And so, but I still wouldn't have put them together, and it ended up being incredible to me. I loved it. Just a couple of people showing, in the end, they're pretty evenly matched, even though I think Arya probably would have just killed her quickly. It would have been if Brienne wasn't an important character. But she hasn't, like, what does she get to do in this besides that? I mean, she gets told by Podrick, hey, guess what? You got them all here finally. And even then she doesn't take the credit for it, so it's like, well, she does say thanks eventually, but I feel like Brienne is definitely in major, would be one of the people that I would say is probably going to die. But because of her importance her mission is kind of done, for the most part. But that could be just kind of a red herring way of thinking, that maybe all of a sudden the people that you don't expect to live will live, and the people that you want to live will die. There's a good chance that we're going to see a lot of our favorite people be gone. And by favorite, I mean not just good guys. I think we're going to see, we're not just bad guys. I think we're going to see a lot of the good guys go. And I don't think all the Starks are getting out of this. I don't know which ones they're going to pick. Maybe they'll all go, but that's a topic for when we're watching it, I guess. But I do also like a little bit of Littlefinger here, even though I don't understand why he's bringing the knife to Bran, except that, yeah, this almost killed him. But like, with Bran knowing everything, why didn't Bran just say, I know who this is? Like, if he can see everything that has happened, then he should have just been like, oh, you this was Joffrey's or whatever. I don't know. Arya's reunion with Bran also kind of just... Bran can't do anything. He's going to be pivotal, but it's almost like you can just put him in a cupboard until you need him. Because, I don't even think he'd care. I think if you give him like some water and something to eat, and you run him back and forth to the bathroom, which he can kind of do on his own, right, with the chair and all. So, you really don't need Bran. You really don't, until it's just like, hey, we need somebody to warg into a fucking dragon, roll his ass out here. And it also gives the actor a chance to not have to emote. Just be like, just say your lines. Or I'm Brandon Stark, but I'm not Brandon Stark, am I? I kind of died in that cave. Gonna kind of give all the little brush off to the girl who's been protecting me for years. Boy, I really wish I could feel something. And that was kind of sad, is him, her saying, you died in that cave, and he can't even give her a proper goodbye or a thank you or anything. After everything they've been through, it comes down to this. And if this is what they give you for a goodbye, okay? If the show doesn't even give you let you feel something for a proper goodbye, then I don't think it's gonna, the showrunners or anything, is gonna care what we think about what happens at the end of this. But see, everybody got their different things. Like, one person's bad ending is probably another person's great ending. And speaking of great ending, we might as well just get to it. So, Bronn and them are all happy and talking and whatever. And all of a sudden, Bronn, and I like it because I didn't catch it the first time, I don't think, but I didn't have as good of headphones as I do now. I could never hear the thunder of the horses and stuff, but I heard it this time, and it was really cool. And I just love that they think they have a chance, and then they see that it's Dothraki, and they start to go, fuck. Oh man, they've never even seen Dothraki, really, right? This is like seeing something you're never gonna see, you never thought you'd see ever in your lifetime. And so a bunch of Dothraki are storming down, and Bronn is even telling him, dude, you gotta go. You're a commander, you're not an infantryman. And I gotta admit, that's a great plan. Get out of there, because then once the dragon comes, it becomes a whole new, it's just a slaughter. It's a glorious, glorious slaughter. You get to see Lannisters die, and but nobody important, unfortunately. And I really, I was really afraid for the dragon. Even this time watching it, I know it doesn't die, but I'm going, what if this time he actually hits her? Do you ever do that where you're just like, maybe for some damn reason I'm watching a different version and you're gonna see Daenerys get pegged right off the top of the frickin' dragon? But no, and they really make you think though that Jaime's gonna die though too, didn't they? And I do like Tyrion's concern. Tyrion and Jaime may have their differences, but I think it's really the toxicness of their sister that's messed them both up and their whole family. And that's not to excuse Jaime and Tyrion and all their ways about doing things. I'm not trying to just gang up on Cersei. Anybody that's a fan of Cersei can suck it, though. I mean, if you think she's a great character and she's performed well, yes. If you like the character, I mean, actually like her, like, oh, I'd like to go have, some wine with her. There's something wrong with you, but maybe there's something wrong with me because I want to hang out with Littlefinger. I don't want to hang out with Littlefinger, actually. I just think he's a great character. But yeah, the dragon almost gets her. I love this shot. He's like a fucking stealth bomber going like here. That whole thing with the lake and all that, and then just the way they showed everything exploding, it really looked really good. They put some money into this fight, and it is impressive. And yeah, at the end of this, we're supposed to think that Jaime died, but I was just like, nah. I mean, it'd be crazy because again, showing just how unfair things are. The story of Jaime Lannister pushed into a lake of water and drowned because of his armor, and that's how he died. I mean, I love that thought because that's how most of us die. With kind of misadventure, So anyway, it's a really, really incredible scene. Really well done. Changes the game again. I mean, Battle of the Bastards is like each fight is different, and even though I would say Battle of the Bastards is better than this, just because of how big and long and how much time it took, this is pretty close though, because this one gives us that dragon. This gives us that medieval fantasy, stuff you'd read in books and never got to see proper in movies and TV, because they've just never been able to do it right. And this, in my opinion, I mean, they've done movies like Dragonheart and shit, but that has not held up. And maybe in 20 years this won't hold up either, but right now it holds up like really good. And so yeah, that's it. That's the spoils of war. If I've forgotten anything, please feel free to launch it at me in the comment section. Otherwise, if you did like this review, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Otherwise, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back tonight with Happy Season 2. We've got What We Do in the Shadows Season 2, both episode 3s for those two shows. We'll be back with Game of Thrones tomorrow, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 for our Marvel MCU Road to Avengers game reviews, Endgame reviews. That's coming up too. So this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying have a great day, and we will see you on the next video.